A point of discussion after tonight's UFC event was the whole thing about the side kick to the knee and the fact that it should be banned, it should be illegal. Fighters should not be throwing that technique because it has the potential of ending their opponent's fighting career. And after seeing it land with such devastation tonight, where Khalil Rountree finished Modestas Bukauskas with that very technique, it was something that he planned to do in the fight. He countered the jab. When you throw a jab, you naturally step with it. With that step, you turn it sideways, give a good angle for you to stomp their knee sideways. A side kick to the knee is one of the best counters to the jab if you time it perfectly. You can cause this kind of damage. And after tonight, after Khalil Rountree's win, the arguments to ban the side kick to the knee have grown exponentially. There's a lot of people talking about it now. Even the commentators, even fighters are saying that they don't like this technique. It's quote unquote far too dangerous. Rampage Jackson and Wonderboy Thompson are both professional fighters who have expressed their concerns about this technique. Wonderboy himself got his knee busted up when he fought Darren Till. I just find it pretty funny that those are the two guys that are bringing this up. Two guys that just try to put their opponents into a coma. You got Wonderboy spinning, heel kicking people in the jaw, and you got Rampage power bombing people and landing late shots on unconscious opponents like Vanderlei Silva. But I'm coming here to say that I do not think this technique should be banned for various reasons. Number one, there's other concerns other than damage to the knee that could potentially end someone's career. The obvious one is brain damage, which potentially is not just going to end someone's fight career, it could potentially end everything else. An injury to your shoulder, an injury to your back, an injury to your neck. All these things can also happen in MMA. So what are we going to do? We're also going to ban punches to the face and submission attempts and all these different techniques that could potentially end someone's career. I mean, we've had someone literally end their career because of a concussion. TJ Grant is a famous example. Also, Chris Holdsworth, another great example. There is not a fighter where his career has been ended because of a side kick to the knee. That has not happened in the UFC. And I understand the argument that brain damage is going to happen in a sport like MMA. And it might be unavoidable. Well, that's not necessarily true. Brain damage can be avoided. That's if you ban all the techniques that causes brain damage. Just how the same thing, we can avoid ligament damage if you ban all the techniques that causes ligament damage. It's the same sort of thing. But I think it's pretty asinine to go this route when fighters should be getting better and adjusting and learning how to counter this specific technique. There is no technique in MMA that is just clearly too powerful for the sport. The issue with the side kick is a lot of fighters have never learned the proper technique as to how to defend against it and how to counter it. Only fighters that we have seen in the UFC who have a traditional martial arts background, such as Rose Namajunas getting away from a chambered side kick from Michelle Waterson and knocking her down, to Israel Adesanya evading Whitaker's attempts at a side kick to the knee and even countering one of them by pulling his leg away and then countering with a high kick. And you're probably asking, how could he land a high kick in that time where Whitaker is trying to retract from his side kick? Well, that's the thing. When you miss a side kick, you are extremely vulnerable. And you're vulnerable for a long period of time. You can land high kicks on your opponent. It's that dangerous to miss a side kick, especially when you're looking to stomp on the knee like Khalil Rountree did. If you're putting more power into the kick to really damage your opponent and you miss with all that power, you're ultimately going to overextend and overstep and blading your stance. If you take an off angle on this attack, they don't even have to miss. Even on the chambering of the kick, you can do whatever you want to them. Look what Rose Namajunas did to Michelle Waterson. That can be replicated every single time if you just know the proper footwork and the proper defense, if you just drill this technique in training. And as fighters get better at defending and countering this technique, people aren't going to be complaining about it as much.